Hello there, this is Rich Lavens of Watlow, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial centered around the Watlow F4T and creating some ramp dwell programs, sometimes called profiles, and then we're going to touch on a feature called wait for and another feature called calendar start or real-time clock. They kind of use the same terminology for the same thing. So what I've got is an F4T connected up to my computer, and we are going to open the Watlow Composer software and we'll get started. So I just plugged in my F4T. You can see there's the address I'm using for the F4T. And if I click here, it'll open a tab up at the top. So we'll click on that upper tab. And here's my PC with the IP address I'm using and the F4T. If I click on the picture of the F4T, it opens up a drop-down menu. I can also just click on this tab. So either way, it does the same thing. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my function block diagram. And I've got a very simple ramp soak function block set here. I'm using my analog input 1, which is just a thermocouple. I've got my profile block. I've got a heat control loop. I've got a very simple relay output for heating, and then I added this logic block for an event output. So if you follow my lines here, my actual temperature comes in through this line to my process value on the heat control loop 1. In parallel with that, I've got the same process value coming into my PV1 on the profile 1 block. And I've got the same temperature coming into event 1 that we'll use later on as a wait for. When event 1 triggers, I turn on this output. When it calls for heat, it turns on output 1 module 2. So that's the basic setup. The PID block, or any block for that matter, if you click on there, it opens up all the parameters for the PID block, the heat output block, in this case output 1, and so forth. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're going to concentrate on the profile block. So if I click on the profile block, you can see up here there's a calendar start minute, calendar start hour, and calendar start day. We'll get back to that. But let's create a profile first. So we're going to come back up to our menu, and we're going to click on the profile tab, and you can see I've got some stuff in here already. Let's go ahead. If you have things you want to get rid of, you can just hit delete. So we're going to delete some of these and start over. Now these are profiles that were already existing in the actual F4T, so you got to be a little careful. Don't erase something you need. So we'll delete it, and we're going to start from scratch. So let's add down here, lower left-hand corner. We're going to add a new profile. We're going to start this with new profile 1. And then here are the steps in that profile. So I want to click on soak. That's my first step. And you can see over here, it changed it over to the step detail, and it took my profile name and threw it over here as well. So the first thing I want to do is probably ramp to a set point. So we've got different segment types: soak, ramp time, ramp rate, wait for, instant change, and end. So we're going to go to a ramp time, and we'll say I want to go to 100 degrees. And I want to go to 100 degrees in, we'll just say, 5 minutes. So what it'll do now is when you hit the program start, your set point is going to start from ambient and start ramping up to 100 degrees, and it'll create the right slope, the right timing of this to get to the set point or get to 100 degree set point in 5 minutes. I can do sort of the same thing with the ramp rate, except now instead of putting in a time, I can put in how many degrees per minute I want to take to get there. So maybe it's 10 degrees per minute. So again, it's kind of your preference. It achieves the same outcome. It's just how do you want to program that rate? So we're going to leave this in degrees per minute. And then I'm going to add a new step. So after the ramp segment, we would normally enter something called a soak period, or sometimes called a dwell period. Really depends on the manufacturer's terminology. But in essence, we've reached set point, and now we want to sit at a temperature for a given amount of time. So now I got 200 degrees, and I'm going to soak for 5 minutes. What happens in the real world is my set point did get to 100 degrees. At that point, my soak immediately starts. Well, my process value, my actual temperature, may not have gotten to 100 degrees yet. So a couple different ways we can accomplish this. So there's something called a guaranteed soak enable. So I'm going to turn that on. And then I'm going to go up here to the upper right, and I'm going to click on the guaranteed soak deviation. In that, it's defaulted at 10 degrees, and that's a 10-degree band. So we're going to leave it at that. What that means is my set point got to 100 degrees, but I am going to wait in my soak segment to the actual temperature to get within 10 degrees of my set point. Once I'm within that 10-degree window, the good window, my timer will take off and start timing. If at any point I fall outside of that 10-degree deviation, the timer will pause, sit there forever actually, until my process value gets back within the good range, that'll take off. So you can kind of think of a guaranteed soak as a guaranteed time at temperature. So that's my soak. Now we're going to add another step. So in this case, let's ramp it up. We'll use the ramp time here, and you can use ramp time or ramp rate. Again, doesn't really matter how you do it. So here, let's step up to 150 degrees. And again, we'll ramp up in 5 minutes. In this case, you got to be a little careful of using the guaranteed soak on ramps and dwells. I mean, it works, but what will happen is it can actually slow the process down. So it's going to work within that 10-degree window. So again, as my set point goes up, now all of a sudden it's going to stop. It's going to wait for the process value to be back within 10 degrees. It'll take off a little bit more. So if you're not careful, you can end up with a 5-minute ramp time all of a sudden taking a couple hours because it's always pausing, waiting for the process value to keep up. So anyway, just a little word of caution there. So in my case, I'm actually going to shut that off on my ramp. So we're going to add another step now. We'll do another soak. And again, I do like to use the guaranteed soak on the soaks or the dwells. So we're going to soak at that next temperature for 5 more minutes. We're going to add another step. Now here, there's something called an instant change. So the instant change is sort of a combination of a set point change and a dwell in one, unique segment. So in this case, I would go to a set point of 200. The set point has no ramp rate associated with that. The set point goes immediately to 200, and then you would enter a dwell period. So again, we're going to ramp, we're going to soak, we're going to ramp, we're going to soak. Then we're going to jump or go to an instant change. It's going to go set point immediately to 200 and begin a 10-minute soak period. And again, guaranteed soak could be used in this as well. So that's the instant change. Add another step here. There is a wait for. So the wait for uses that event input. So let's turn that on. And we'll say below. So it comes back to this line right here. So it's looking at the process value, and now we're saying we want to wait for that process value to get to a certain range. So in this case, we had that instant change of 200. We may want to wait here for that actual process value to get to 200. before it allows that to go on. So that's what so we're going to wait for that to get to 200, and then here we could enter another dwell period or soak period. And again, we're going to wait for the process value to get to 200, and once it's at 200, we'll enter the soak stage. So again, we can do that, leave that at 10 minutes. We also have something called a jump. We just ran through a ramp, a soak, We did an instant change. We waited for the process value to catch up. Now we finished this soak period. Say I need to run those 7 segments a couple different times in my process. So rather than using extra steps down here, I can say, when I get to segment number 8, jump back to, again, you can pick what segment you want to jump back to number 1, and then do that 3 times. So it saves some steps. So that is the jump segment. We'll add another step. So we just did this. We ran this 3 different times. Now let's do an instant change. We're going to drop this down to ambient, so 80 degrees. Now we can do it 10 minutes, or we can just do like a 0 and go to 1 second or 5 seconds or whatever. So we just want to drop that temperature really quick. It drops to 80 degrees. I don't care about the guaranteed soak. So now I'm down to 80 degrees. And then the last thing you would probably want to do is use an end segment. And the end segment has different actions. We can do user, we can do off, and we can do hold. So if we choose user, the loop controls at the set point setting prior to the execution of the profile. So when the profile ends, it's going to go back to whatever set point you had in the normal PID loop. If we end in an off, it's going to run the program, and then at the end of the program, it's going to shut the PID loop off. So basically, it's going to kill the output to the PID loop, and the temperature will just kind of drop naturally. And then the last one is a hold. So a hold, it'll go to the loop set point's last value used in the profile. So in this case, we ended at 80 degrees. It'll just try to control at 80 degrees until somebody tells it to do something different. So after we're done creating this, this ramp soak program or profile, there's another thing. We created all this in the step detail. If we go to the profile graph, it gives you a visual of everything we just set up. So we're ramping to a set point, we're holding, we're ramping. If I go right in line, click on a point, it'll say step 2 is a soak. It goes for 15 minutes. Step 3 is going to ramp to 150 degrees in 20 minutes. Step 4 is a soak. So again, as you click on these data points or these points, it'll tell you what's going on. And then there's that jump back. So we're going to jump back. And then finally, we're going to end at 80 degrees. So I really like this screen. It just kind of brings everything together so you know exactly what this thing is going to act like. So anyway, that is the method to create ramps and soaks. So I think at this point, we're going to jump back to the actual F4T, and I'll show you how to use the calendar start and kind of show you the button pushes on the actual instrument. All right, so here we are at the faceplate of the F4T. Now, if I want to use this as just a normal PID temperature controller, not the ramp soak, I can still run my control loop from here. So I'm at 50 degrees set point. I can put in whatever I want, hit enter, and it will still control the process. However, if I want to run a ramp soak segment or profile, I would hit profile action. If I hit run last, it's going to run the last profile I had going. So in this case, profile 1, and my set point went to 120 degrees. To stop that, I hit the profile action again, hit terminate. It will go back to whatever is programmed in the control loop at that point. If I come back and hit my profile action again, I can hit run last, which I just did. I could hit run profile. Now you would get a list of the profiles you created and stored in the F4T, and you could pick the one you want to run. So in this case, if I want to run profile 1, I go to actions, and I can run the profile. I can custom run it. I wanted to show you the calendar start, so we're going to hit calendar start. Now the calendar start says Thursday at 12:10. I want to run profile 1. So if I want to change that, right now it's about 12:20. So let's move this up to 12:21. Hit save. Hit start. Down here, it now tells you, hey, at 12:21 on Thursday, I'm going to run profile 1. And you can see my time just went to 12:21 and my profile started. So it will run through that program. If I go back to profile actions, I can terminate that. Also on the profile actions, if I go to create a profile, now I can give it a profile name. I can enter my guaranteed soak, so I can run through all of my options, create the steps. So really it's much easier to do in Composer, but if you wanted to do it through the faceplate of the F4T, you could certainly do that. So step 1, I want to do an instant change, enter my temperature, enter the hours, minutes, seconds if you're doing a ramp or a ramp time. So we're going to do that. And then here, add a step. Step number 2, we could do a ramp. So again, everything you could do through Composer, you can do there. At the instrument, you can enable your guaranteed soak. You can enable the various events. So again, I like the visual of doing it in Composer, but it's completely feasible to do it here, and it's really your choice. So let's back up a little bit here. I can also look at my events by view edit the profiles. So here's the events that are happening. I don't have any at the moment. And again, go to profiles. We just created that last one a second ago, so it's there. So really, that's how you would create a segment or a profile or a program, whatever you want to call it, and how you would edit it and run it from the Composer or instrument standpoint. I hope you find this video helpful, but please reach out to us and let us know. Thank you so much. Bye.